What's wrong with Valentine's Day? Why did the Catholic Church cease liturgical veneration of the saint in 1969, and the Orthodox Church venerates St. Valentine not in February, but in the summer? Let's figure it out. The most ancient martyrologies, which are official lists of revered saints, St. Valentine is present. And it is reliably known that he was beheaded on February 14, 269, by order of the Roman Emperor Claudius II Gothicus. By the way, the emperor earned this nickname not because of his love for dark makeup, but because of his victories over the Gothic tribes. It is believed that before his execution, in prison, St. Valentine healed the blind daughter of his jailer. And he wrote her a note signed, "Your Valentine." The story with the note can be found, for example, in the medieval book, Legenda Aurea. Even the skull of St. Valentine has been preserved in the Basilica of St. Mary in Cosmedin. If you find yourself in Rome, you'll be able to personally see it. It all seems quite clear, but the problem lies in the fact that different martyrologies describe two different Valentines with the same story. One is a simple priest, Valentine of Rome, and the other is a bishop from Terni. Moreover, all the sources were destroyed during the so-called Great Persecution, a period of mass persecution of Christians from 303 to 313 under Emperor Diocletian. Therefore, it's now impossible to determine whether it was one person or two different individuals. That's why the Catholic Church ceased liturgical veneration of the saint in 1969, although it still recognizes him as a saint. To complete the picture, I'll add that the name Valentine in Latin means worthy, strong, powerful. It was very popular in the Roman Empire. So there are about 50 more saints named Valentine, and even one Valentina, who were martyred in various horrible ways. This applies to the Orthodox Church as well. They celebrate the day of a completely different Saint Valentine. Not Valentine of Rome, but Bishop Valentine of Interamna, whose feast day falls on July 6th. As you may have noticed, we've been exclusively talking about agonizing deaths and haven't mentioned anything about romance and lovers. Romance emerged in the Middle Ages, and to blame for this is the poet Geoffrey Chaucer. In 1382, at the wedding of Richard II and of Bohemia, he wrote a poem in which he calls the day of their wedding the day when all those thirsty for love find their match, and he blesses them on this day, St. Valentine. The wedding day was January 14th. Stop. January, what does St. Valentine have to do with it? Chaucer used St. Valentine for the beauty of style, especially since a suitable Valentine could always be found nearby for the occasion. Remember, there were about 50 of them. However, the public understood that it was referring to February 14th, when the most famous Valentine's Day was celebrated. Let's add the legend of the note, "Your Valentine," which was already circulating at that time. This led to a new widespread trend of writing love letters on February 14th. Gradually, it became a full-fledged Valentine's Day for all lovers. As for the marriage of Richard II and of Bohemia, the queen quickly died of the plague. The king loved her so much that he ordered the palace where she passed away to be demolished, no longer wishing to see it. The further reign of Richard II led to the prolonged War of the Roses. The king himself was deposed and spent the rest of his life in captivity, where he died on Valentine's Day, February 14, 1400. To avoid going mad without love like Richard II and not lose everything, cherish those whom you love.